Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm Geoff Dover. With me is John Barban. Let's talk football.
All right, NFC Championship game, and we're down to 4 teams, and we're just going to do our picks and previews and just discuss what we think might happen in this game.
Yep, it's a great matchup. We're lucky to be able to record today. A shout out to Liz for making it possible.
Yeah, production manager Liz totally got this thing in order because somebody wasn't ready. With
I'm ready now.
Their prep. Okay. So I got the line here at Philly -6.
Correct.
And then the total's 47.5.
Yep, 47. Both games are at 47.5, which to me is always, they're not sure which way is going to go.
Because that's sort of generic as you can get.
That's right in the middle. That's like not a low scoring game, not a high scoring game. That's just right there in the middle. So, with the Washington Philly is really interesting because both, Philly's defense has been really outstanding, especially the last couple of games, especially at home.
Mm-hmm.
The Washington's offense has looked really good. So this is like something's got to give here, like in Daniels, rookie QBs normally don't do well in the first year of the playoffs. So there's one thought was like the luck's got to run out at some point, or you just sort of keep going with it. But if Washington's offense was as good as it was the last couple of games, this is going to be good.
I mean, he only needs 2 more games. I don't know if it's luck anymore.
No,
he looks good. I watched JT O'Sullivan's breakdown of his last game, and O'Sullivan's thoroughly impressed.
Really?
He's like, this isn't rookie stuff.
He looks so poised. We've talked about that before,
totally.
and it's just something that in pretty quick decision making. It's with he throws a great ball, but when it's not there, he can scramble. But he doesn't seem to make too many bad decisions. It's really, for a first year player, it's really impressive.
Well, there's a few things he was pointing out. One is I think it's Kingsbury knows or has learned over the year what he can call for him that he can actually pull off. Like some of the stuff he was doing, like on a blitz. One of his answers is not the hot read normally back to where the blitzer came from. Usually the read is right back to where he came from. That's the open spot.
Yeah.
But he said it's unique with Daniels. He's so quick that he can actually just run away from the blitz to buy time. And then his hot read could be the other side, which he's like, that normally you just don't do that. So it's almost like he has 2 hot options because he's so quick. He can just run away from the blitz.
He's got a really good pocket presence. He's got amazing decision making. He looks really poised for a first year QB. Is really crazy. It's really crazy. Yeah, it's really outstanding.
And his downfield accuracy is on point.
Oh, it's fantastic. The last game where it was the deep ball and the defender had the hand in the guy's face mask and he still caught the ball was unbelievable. So do you think that the Eagles passing game is going to be a problem in this one?
I think it's going to be the same. It's just going to be very limited. I can't see it all of a sudden coming around. Now, I guess all of that really is dependent on how much pressure the Washington defensive line can put on him. The Rams are exceptional. So whether or not Hurts, but the passing offense has been like a complaint of the Eagles fans for weeks and weeks now. So it can't just be unique to the Rams D line. Now that D line, I think, is one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL, in the NFC, maybe the NFL. So if their passing offense is struggling, it doesn't help when you've got outstanding pass rushers. But if Barkley's playing that well, it kind of doesn't matter. You just lean on him.
That to me is the key. If Washington can slow down the running game and force Philly to pass, then that's going to be a problem. So and especially if Washington goes up early, right? Because then that's going to be a bigger problem for Philly. So I think that's a big game script thing. Like this would be interesting to see. Teams always defer the coin toss because they love the idea of getting 2 possessions for 1, right? They love like ending the first half with a score, knowing they're going to get the ball after the halftime, But I think this, you could make an argument for, if you're Washington, if you didn't defer and if you could take the ball and score, that really is going to put Philly on their heels. So I don't, they won't do that. I'm sure they'll defer because basically everyone does that now. But this is one of those cases where, especially when the strength is the running game, you don't want Philly to get ahead and lean on that and then really not have to pass.
Yeah, you're right. It hinges on, can they stop? I don't think they can stop Barkley.
No.
Can they prevent the home runs?
Yeah. Yeah. Like prevent the big plays.
60 and 70-yard home run plays. Can they prevent? And now from Hurts too.
Yep.
Like that's last game, 3 touchdowns were on massive just massive runs. The rest of the game, the Rams more or less kept it under control.
Yeah.
And then the Philly passing game is nothing. It's just not there. So, but it doesn't matter. Like we said, if you run for 280 yards and 3 massive runs for touchdowns, that's enough.
Yep.
So I just don't know that the Commanders have shown that they're that good at stopping the run. I mean, I don't know who can actually really stop the Eagles' run, but they're not necessarily. This isn't the Chiefs' defense. Let's say it that way.
No, true.
That I would actually give a legitimate shot at holding Barkley back.
The only other thing I was looking at too, not the only other thing, another thing I was looking at for this game was the weather, because that's been, snow games or, it's been a bit of a thing, but the weather for Philly doesn't look that bad. It's going to be about 3 degrees Celsius. That'd be, 40 maybe or so.
I got 40, 39.
Yeah.
So that's not bad at all.
No. And it's, and doesn't look like snow in the forecast right now, and not too windy. Windy is really the big thing, I think, that would affect it more, especially Washington, right? Because that would affect them more than Philly because of the passing situation. So,
yeah. And so the Eagles, it's run. If they can still run the ball, I don't think the passing game matters. Obviously, the Commanders need to try to slow that run down and force them into a passing game. Yeah. And if Hurts beats them passing, okay, fine. Then they've just beat them. On the flip side, the Commanders, if you can almost force them into a more run game and limit McLaurin and their downfield passing game, it's almost like the reverse. Take that away.
It's almost the reverse, because
keep them on the ground.
I would play them like to stop the pass and then dare them to run, because they haven't really been able to sustain the running game, So yeah, and I think that's why the weather. We talked about this the last game in Philly, like because of the snow and the weather conditions, the defense was so tentative in terms of running and changing direction and stuff. So if it's not like that, and which would, I think, be good for Philly at home, because then they can stay with, that's going to be really important to stay with the passing, like with the wide receivers and stuff. So yeah, I think that potentially could be good for them.
Yeah, I hope this game, in both of these games, I hope the weather's not turning it into, well, that you have
more
to put
than 5 fumbles. I hope we don't get that.
Yeah, the ball handling and all that, but just like people taking awkward angles, people not being able to change directions. Then you have to view the game as, okay, well, that was that game, but with the awkward footing or the limited traction and footing in a snow game. It's just different. You're not necessarily getting the full, I guess, capability of the players, because they don't have the footing to do everything they actually are capable of. But again, that's playoff football in northern cities. This is just what you're going to get. It's all 4 of these teams. The weather won't bother any of them, but no matter whose stadium we're in, weather's going to be some kind of factor, or at least can be. It's not like it's Tampa Bay or something in LA where the weather just doesn't matter at all. As far as the spread, Philly -6. What do you have? Do you have a sense of this, or what would you do?
I wanted to hear what you had to say first.
Oh, Commanders +6.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do too. I mean, I really enjoy watching Washington, and I think that because I think their offense is good enough that Philly's not just gonna be able to run the ball, and so I think that's going to be a problem. And I think that Daniels is playing great, and so I'm going to ride that train, as far as it'll take me. And they're peaking at the right time, and it's so yeah, I feel good about the +6 as well.
Yeah, I think so. The Eagles can play a ball control, grind you down game.
Yep.
But Commanders is one of the few teams that can quick strike their way back into any game, and they do it all the time.
Exactly. Like they could be down like 10-0 or something at the halftime, and that doesn't mean anything for the second half, because they can score quickly and make this, turn it around real fast.
Yeah, and they play each other twice a year. There's enough familiarity there that there shouldn't be any surprises as far as like matchups and personnel. Do you think there's a coaching advantage here?
Oh, good question. I think that I think the strengths and weaknesses are really different for both coaches. So I don't know if there's a clear advantage here, but it's I feel I like what the Washington Quinn, right, is I like what he's doing. I mean, I'd lean him probably.
I think the most interesting matchup is Eagles defensive coordinator versus the Commanders offensive coordinator, and that may be the more interesting what's going to happen here matchup. I don't know. We'll see. It's I almost feel like the Eagles, you know exactly what you're getting, and the Commanders, they almost feel like I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen on their side of the ball.
To play your game.
Yeah, okay.
If we did a game, right?
Oh man,
Washington's a offensive game, they win this game, right?
Versus the Eagles a offensive game,
or Eagles a offense or Eagles a defense, even.
Okay. So you're kind of asking what's the single best unit on the field if they bring their total A game?
I guess that's exactly what I'm asking.
Maybe the Commanders. I mean, the Eagles defense is really good.
It is.
This is strength against strength when you talk about that.
No, very true.
And then
let's. I got another question for you.
Yeah.
This is fun because I know you probably haven't looked at the prop bets yet.
No.
Okay. So if you had to guess, what's the over under on passing yards for Jalen Hurts?
Oh, really? Like, I don't know, 145?
Good guess. 185.
185?
Yeah, right. So
probably automatically take the under on that.
I know.
180. What makes them think he's passing for 185 yards in any game? Unless, well, you know what? That's probably more commentary. The commentary on the Commanders' pass defense.
No, it's and what the Eagles have been doing, like on offense for some time, right? So then just for our other point too, the rushing yards for Jayden Daniels over under 55.5.
So you know what? He doesn't actually rush that many yards, but it's the key yards. I think their fourth down percentage is one of the best in the NFL, converting fourth downs.
Definitely part of that.
And it's a lot to do with him.
Yeah. Same thing with Hurts, right? Over under rushing yards 35.5. So again, just key times, right, to do it. So, but this really speaks more to the Barban's thesis of the playoffs this year about the mobile quarterback, right? And how
we're down to the four of the best mobile quarterbacks left in the NFL.
So
here.
That's the rushing yards is part of the game. So they got to stop that too.
That's another thing. It's going to come down to, at least I think in part, the quarterback who's the most effective on third and converting some fourth downs when it has to happen with their legs. I think whoever does a better job with that, they're kind of almost the same. Hurts is obviously bigger, but both of them are really effective, especially, well, I was going to say now that Hurts looks healthy this year, but I guess he got a little nicked up last game. I was reading a report. It's something to do. I don't know if it's a knee. He's obviously going to play. There's nothing stopping him from playing. There's no way he's not going to play in this game, but I saw a report saying he's a little nicked up with his knee. I know Zach Ertz, I think, is a bit nicked up. Both teams have people who've missed some practice time. They're resting, but I mean, I don't think that'll slow Hurts down.
No,
I mean, this is it. It's win or go home. So he's gonna, whatever it takes. They're gonna.
You got 2 weeks to rest after this,
right? So if it takes anti-inflammatory shots, painkillers, whatever it is, it's all on the field for this game. So I don't really think that's really going to be an issue. It's just if he's slightly slower than he could be, that might be slightly lend it towards Jayden Daniels' favor for who's going to pick up that critical couple of yards on a third or fourth down.
And I think stuff like everything, we talked about, like Philly isn't designed to come back from something. I don't think they're really good at the boa constrictor game and run the ball. And that's what they want to do. So they don't deal well with turnovers. Like that's not good for them. They can't come back very well, I don't think. So that's the key to Washington winning, is either going up early, being able to control the run a bit, a couple of early Philly turnovers or something, and then that'd be an absolute disaster. Whereas I really think Washington can overcome a fair bit of stuff if anything like that happened. But
right, so overall A game, not just offensive A game. Both teams, offense and defenses, show up A game. Who do you think wins?
Both offenses do.
Both offenses and both defenses.
Yeah,
like a mistake-free game from both
like you
teams.
said, I think the best unit on the field at their A game is Washington's offense. So I think that would make the difference.
Push it over the top.
But it's but listen, there are 4 really good teams left, and I just the only thing I don't see happening is a Philly blowout. So, but I could see.
But you could see a Commanders blowout.
Yeah, I could.
Eagles fans, you heard that from Geoff. He just said you couldn't blow them out.
All the fan bases, I don't want to piss off. That's anyway.
But the Commanders could blow out the Eagles. It's just right here. Geoff said that. Geoff said that. Just want to reiterate that point.
Fantastic. You have any thoughts about the total?
I mean,
it's right there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the Commanders who'd have to push this total over.
Exactly. Yeah.
Almost partly just because of the style of game. I don't think the Eagles care to play a high scoring game if they don't.
No.
They prefer to do like 3 15-minute long drives if they could.
Yeah. And for sure. So this could be like 23-20 is under
totally
the
realistic.
number, and then like 27-23 is over the number. You know, like
it's all right there. So I don't like that total. I mean, if you tease the total, maybe, but I don't like that. But Philly is lately not really running away from teams. That's why I like the Commanders at +6.
Yep.
It's. I mean,
and I could also see a backdoor cover on this type of situation.
Yeah, that too. So. Yeah, the Commanders, of course. Yeah, throw maybe a Hail Mary in here. So, that's the most comfortable I am with is Commanders +6. I don't like the over-unders. Yeah. I don't really know where to go with that one. Yeah. I don't have much else to say about this one besides I'm super excited for it. And I wonder if we're just in the middle of watching a historic run with Jayden Daniels, that we're just only realizing it as it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, right? Like, because that this is really, going to change how Washington fans feel about their team, going forward, because that's always the dream, is if you can hit a generational talented quarterback, that fixes a lot of stuff, and especially on a rookie contract at the beginning. I mean, it's a really big deal. So it changes things, regardless of this outcome. The next year, Washington will be able to structure the team around Daniels, and
I think they have a ton of cap space too.
Yeah, and it's really that if you're a Washington fan, you're super excited about this, as opposed to Philly, which we're sort of, it could be at any time the window is closing, almost. So
Philly fans, Geoff said that.
So it's apparently
he just doesn't like the Eagles. I can see what you mean, because there's more money being already spent in Philadelphia, where the Commanders are just at a major thing. The quarterback's on a rookie contract, which saves a ton of money for at least the next 2 years.
Now, what I will say this just before we sign off, Saquon Barkley is amazing, and he was probably the best pickup, of any team, in the off season. And so if he has a day, then just forget everything that I said today.
Yeah, how about X factors on both teams? Barkley, obviously, and what, just Daniels on the.
I'm going to say, that would be the obvious pick, absolutely. But I mean, what's funny about Washington is that like Eckler could have over 100 yards rushing all of a sudden. It's like McLaurin is absolutely capable of having a 150-yard receiving day or something. Like they've got a couple different people on there that's would be all right. So
yeah. Well, so I guess
who's that other Washington receiver?
Can you look them up? I guess the point is both teams have for real X factor players. You know what? At this point of the season, the 4 teams left, all of them do. I don't know that you can get here without one player who could theoretically just take the game over.
Miami Brown, remember, he was the one that had almost 100 yards receiving the last one. And then and Ertz, you mentioned that. And Jamison Crowder also caught stuff the last time. So
So they've got a bunch of weapons, and Kingsbury seems to know how to use them all. Not that the Eagles don't know how to use.
Isn't there an L in there?
Cliff Kingsbury. No, I don't think there's an L.
Isn't there? No? Okay.
No, I think you're making that up.
Okay.
I wonder this whole Eagles pass game thing. I don't. We need an Eagles insider. Somebody, please.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We need you to.
Listen, we had some comment from some of the followers from Kansas City, gave us some really good information. Thanks again, Looney Farm guy. We had a Buffalo guy send us some really good stuff. Thanks again, and Grilly. So it's we haven't heard anything about the Philly
and Commanders insider, but on the Eagles side of things, is there just an undertones here of a worry about the whatever you would call what's going on in the receiver room there, and this strangeness of AJ Brown reading books on the side? Like, now I know he said he's been doing it all year. Well, then how come we haven't seen it yet? Or is this that to me seems like something the broadcast would have picked up on however long ago, but now all of a sudden they're doing it.
Because how many cameras are at an NFL game? Like thousands.
Well, it's such an interesting thing that somebody's reading a novel on the side, or a self-help, development book on the sideline, and only in the last couple of weeks. But maybe they're just stoking the flames of the controversy, and it was been there all along. I don't know. Anyways, it seems strange.
About it before. I just don't understand how they've got talented people like Devontae Smith and AJ, like they're very good. And the
Goddard is
running
good
game,
too.
Goddard's amazing. The running game is outstanding. The passing game should flourish or be like extremely efficient, and it's not. And I don't get it.
And this is what some of the Eagles fans who have actually commented said, that they see it all being Hurts just doesn't see the field, and in whatever's there, he's not picking up enough on what's there, and it's his fault, and he's the one who's holding the ball too long and not seeing it. Now,
interesting.
I saw JT O'Sullivan's breakdown of Hurts too, and it wasn't anywhere near as glowing as Jayden Daniels. But now part of it was the Rams' defensive line was just ruining the Eagles' offensive line from a lot of that game and getting through like so quickly. But again, they were blitzing Jayden Daniels a lot, and he kept finding the answer to the point where blitzing him is that's a problem. If you're going to blitz him, and he was doing 2 reads on a blitz and getting to the second read, which just never happens.
No,
but he was actually quick enough to do that, which is crazy. That's when I started realizing, oh yeah, maybe he is special. Like during the game, all you see is a completed pass, but afterwards, O'Sullivan's really good for his breakdowns.
No,
as he's go ahead.
Yeah, like as a regular fan watching your team, what it comes across as is the team just can't get it going. They're going 3 and out or something. And then when you change the quarterback, and if it's someone that can do that, like make those reads, good in the pocket, stuff like that, then all of a sudden the offense is working, right? Yeah. Because Washington's offenses looked really bad for a while, like with the multiple different people in there, multiple different quarterbacks and stuff. But when someone is good, like Tom Brady or Mahomes or Daniels, like they make it look easy. They make it look like
Philly fans. Did you notice that he didn't use Jalen Hurts as an example of someone who's good?
You're gonna. I love Philadelphia. Okay, it's a great.
Well, then why did you say no? Why did you say before recording that I had to wear the Philly shirt?
He's putting words in my mouth. I don't know why you did the Liberty Bells.
No, I mean, everyone can see on camera who's wearing what here, and that's anyways.
I just don't understand.
Yeah, you're firmly under the bus right now.
Listen, the point is when a quarterback is hitting it, they make it look easy, totally. But it's all those things that you described are what go into it. So,
and when you see how hard it actually is, and then pile on top of that, he's a rookie. It's unprecedented how good he is at what he is doing right now.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, and when the quarterback's really humming and they're completing the passes, moving the team down the field and getting the points, it's just something that you probably just won't see from Hurts this weekend.
Oh boy, there it is. That's the end of it. There's the exclamation point. So Dover thinks the Eagles are terrible. I think they're good. And I think this game should be really good.
Yes.
And X factor players that we both agreed on is Barkley, which is kind of obvious, and Jayden Daniels and or McLaurin on the Commanders. Maybe their connection is the X factor.
Oh, it's a good one.
From there, we'll see. I just hope this is a good one.
Yeah, me too.
And we're taking the Commanders to cover. So that's what we got. Let us know what you got in the comments, and check back on the channel for our preview of the Chiefs and Bills game. We'll catch you later.